What is going on, everybody? Welcome here to my 5th now NBA Q&A here on the channel. I did ask you guys on Twitter, twitter.com/6ringofsteel. The link to my Twitter is in the description. Some NBA questions you guys wanted me to answer. Thank you for everybody that answered or asked a question. We got over 170 questions by the time I'm recording this video, so I say thank you a lot. And if you want to be featured in the next one, you can follow my Twitter in the description and you can ask a question in there to be featured in the next one. So if you guys enjoy these, can we maybe hit 1,000 likes? I would appreciate that a lot. And yeah, let's get into this Q&A. First question comes from Mr. Swish YT. Worst team in the West since almost every team looks like a playoff caliber team. This is easy. The Sacramento Kings. I would say the Kings, Suns, Mavericks, and maybe the Trailblazers. The Grizzlies possibly. I think those are going to be the bottom teams in the West, but I definitely think the worst team in the West is the Sacramento Kings. Question number 2. Brendan asks, what pieces should the Pacers add around Oladipo to be a title contender? It would have been very ironic, and it would have been honestly amazing if the Pacers signed Paul George in this offseason. So they have, I think, their front court kind of set for the future. I mean, I don't know how much they value Sabonis, but I think if he progresses well with Turner, that can maybe be the front court for the future. Obviously, you have your shooting guard for the future, but point guard and small forward could be another thing. So I would say maybe forwards are what they should be looking at, because point guard, Aaron Holiday looked very good in the summer league. He'll be behind Corey Joseph and Collison this year, which kind of sucks. I wish he was the backup, but hopefully he gets a good look this year and he play well. I think he can be a starter. I don't know how high his ceiling could be. I don't know if it can even be higher than what Collison is right now, but I think they can honestly lay low at point guard for a little bit. I would have liked them to go after Kemba Walker this offseason. I think that would be super cool, but I don't think Kemba's going to leave. Eric Bledsoe would be interesting if he didn't want too much money. Isaiah Thomas, no, I don't think so, but small forward, power forward wise, I don't know who's going to come available times, but yeah, I think they would have to look for a small forward or power forward. Don't think Kevin Durant or Jimmy Butler is going to be looking at Indiana, but yeah, I think one of those positions is where they're going to try to upgrade around Oladipo for the future. Question number 3 comes from Koep09. Do you think the Pistons will make the playoffs? I do. I think the Pistons are going to be fighting for the 8th seed in the East. I think they'll be fighting with Charlotte, Brooklyn, and Chicago. I think those 4 teams. I don't think the Knicks will be anywhere close, but I don't even know if Brooklyn will be that. I think it'll be Chicago, Charlotte, and Detroit that will be fighting for the 8th seed, because I think the 7th and up will be Celtics, Sixers, Pacers, Bucks, Raptors. This is in order. Wizards and Heat. I think some way in some order that'll be the first 7 seeds, and then the 8th seed obviously has got to be battled out for a couple teams. I think the Pistons will take the 8th seed. Joey Pagano asks, who had a better prime, Curry or Wade? I wouldn't say we're past Curry's prime yet, but I gotta go Curry, man. I mean, Dwayne Wade was insane. I think people forget a little bit how good Dwayne Wade was before LeBron joined him, and even after he joined him, he was amazing. He was amazing up until Chicago year. And the Chicago year, he wasn't terrible either. This was his first really bad year that you can tell he's regressing. He's getting older because he might retire. He hasn't made a decision on if he's coming back into the NBA next year, but he could retire. I would say better prime, though. I would give it I don't know. It's tough. I want to give it to the Wade, but I might give it to Curry. Question number 5 comes from Madi. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name, sorry. If the Pelicans or Bucks don't make the playoffs this year or make it and get eliminated in the first round, do you think Anthony Davis or Giannis will request a trade? And where do you see them going? 1, for the Bucks, I don't think Giannis will request a trade. I think he loves it there. I think he'll be a Buck for at least the next 5 years or so. So I'm not going to even answer that. I don't think that he'll go anywhere, even if they don't make the playoffs. But I think the Bucks are guaranteed to make the playoffs. Pelicans, on the other hand, it might be hard for them because they got to battle out. Like, I would say definitely locks for the playoffs are Rockets, Warriors, I want to say Jazz, Thunder, and Spurs. Did I say wait? Rockets, Warriors, Thunder, Jazz, Spurs, Lakers. I think those 6 are guaranteed. So you only have 2 spots left between Denver, Minnesota, Memphis, Portland, and New Orleans. So 3 of those 5 teams aren't going to be making it, which is very interesting. Utah might not even make the playoffs next year. I think, honestly, Utah could not even make the playoffs next year. But Pelicans, it's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. I think they could get the 8th seed or the 7th seed, but it's going to be very tough. And do I think Anthony Davis will request a trade? I don't think so. I don't think Anthony Davis will. I think he would respect the team and he would wait. Or maybe he would tell them that he was maybe going to leave so they can get something for him instead of him leaving for nothing, like what happened to KD. I don't think they should trade him. I think in like 5 years from now, he could be the best player in the NBA. I don't see them trading him unless they're getting a Kings ransom. If they can get like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the Kings pick, okay, maybe you can consider that. But I don't think the Celtics would give up that much for Anthony Davis. So I don't think Anthony Davis will get traded. I mean, like, we just saw Kawhi get traded for DeRozan and Pirtle, but he was in a 1-year deal, and it was just too toxic there in San Antonio. I don't think it's really a toxic relationship yet, and I don't see any of these players, these two, getting traded anytime soon. They're like the two best young players in the league. Question number 6 comes from Nick Fan. Do you think Minnesota should trade Butler since he declined the extension? I actually do. I think at the deadline they should try to get something for him. I really don't see him coming back, especially if they don't make the playoffs. And like I said in the last question, all those playoff teams, it's going to be tough for Minnesota to make the playoffs. They're going to have to battle it out with like Denver, New Orleans, Portland, Memphis. Like I said, it's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. I think they could snag one of the last 2 seeds, or maybe the last 3. I would say maybe the Jazz. I don't know. Maybe the Jazz won't make it. Maybe we're overhyping the Jazz too much. But I think they should definitely look to trade him. I don't know what they could get at the deadline. I would just call up Boston and be like, all right, we'll give you Jimmy Butler. You give us Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown. No, they wouldn't even do that because it's a 1-year, possibly a 1-year rental. No, they wouldn't even trade Jaylen Brown because obviously the salary's got to work out. And he's, what, making 18, 19 mil? I mean, if they want, we'll get the Knicks. They'll give them the 2020 first-round pick, unprotected, and Tim Hardaway Jr. And Emmanuel Moody if you want. Like, I would so do that. But they would never do that. I don't know, maybe if they can call up Chicago and they would throw them, like, Levine for Butler. I mean, it's something better than getting him for nothing. I don't know what team would trade for Jimmy Butler at the deadline. Because these stars, they rarely get traded at the deadline. We did see Cousins for Buddy Hield and a first. I mean, that is not the greatest value that the Kings got. Would that turn into Justin Jackson? Justin Jackson and Buddy Hield for DeMarcus Cousins. Not looking too good. And then we saw Blake Griffin get, honestly, the Clippers got a better return for Blake Griffin than the Pelicans, I think, did than the Kings did for DeMarcus Cousins. Would the Clippers got Jerome Robinson. I mean, we'll see how he does. If he could be like Justin Jackson rookie year. And then they got Tobias Harris. And I'd rather have Tobias Harris on my team than Buddy Hield. So I think Minnesota should definitely try to trade Butler. I don't know for who. But actually, maybe call up Detroit. But like, all right, we'll give you Jimmy Butler. You give us Blake Griffin. Honestly, why not? Question number 7 comes from Slim God. Who do you think had the best offseason? Obviously, the Warriors had one of the best offseasons. Obviously, the Lakers, even though the Warriors barely signed anybody besides Jerebko, but they did get DeMarcus Cousins, arguably the best center in the league. Lakers, they added obviously McGee, Stevenson, Beasley, Rondo, 4 clowns, and they also got obviously the best player in the world, so you got to put them up there. I did like Chicago's offseason, Wendell Carter Jr. and Jabari Parker. I did like Dallas's in getting DeAndre Jordan and getting Luka Doncic as well. I did like Phoenix's offseason. I mean, the Ariza signing was cool. I did like the drafting of Okubo, getting Mikal Bridges, and getting DeAndre Ayton, obviously the #1 overall pick. I would think those teams had one of the better offseasons. There's probably somebody I'm forgetting in my head. I did like Milwaukee's offseason. I mean, getting Brook Lopez is cool. Getting Mike Budenholzer is kind of the main point of it. I've kind of expressed how excited I am to see Giannis with a good coach this year. I would say really that off the top of my head is really the best offseasons. I mean, the Pelicans added Randall, which is pretty big, after losing Cousins. I wouldn't say they had the best. No way, because they lost the top center in the league. But yeah, I think those teams really had the better ends of the offseason. The Nets did well. I forgot who they draft. Where they get Musa and Kirkus, and they also took on Fareed's contract, but got another first-round pick. I mean, they're just, it's smart that what they did. And yeah, I would say those teams had probably the better end of the off seasons. I know I'm probably forgetting some teams, so I do apologize. I also like Memphis's off season as well. Robert Fritz X, once contracts like Dang, Noah, Parsons, Mozgov expire, do you expect teams to be more careful when signing real players? 100% yes. 1,000% yes. I'm pretty sure the cap is not going to be as high as it was in 2016, 2015. I think it's going to go down, or it's just going to not get up above that. And teams are going to be like, yeah, we're not going to be giving these players contracts, obviously. So yeah, I think that's pretty easy. No one's going to be getting that big of contracts. Yeah, like I said, yeah, nobody's going to get that big of contracts anymore. Days Money X, 2 questions. Who do you think will win MVP, and who do you think will win Rookie of the Year? I would say for MVP, I think Anthony Davis. If he can bring the Pelicans to a top 5. Actually, no, I don't think Davis is going to make it, because I don't think he'll be higher than a 4 seed. So I don't think Davis will win it. Giannis, if he can manage the Bucks to like a 2 or a 3 seed, he could be in the running. I would say Giannis. Harden, I think the Rockets are going to be a top 2 seed again, so I think Harden will be up there. So Giannis, Harden. If Westbrook can somehow manage to get to the 2 seed, him as well. Obviously, you got to think of Curry and KD. I mean, LeBron, but I don't think the Lakers are going to be a top 3 seed, so therefore, I don't think he'll be in the combo. So I would say I would say KD, Curry, Westbrook, Harden, Giannis. I don't think Kyrie's going to get it. Maybe Embiid could be in the convo. But if I had to say who do I think will win it, I'm going to say James Harden again. And if we're going to go for Rookie of the Year, if I had to say 3, I would say Doncic, Aiden are definitely top 2. I would say like Knox, Wendell Carter Jr. are just outside of them. Depending on how Trae Young goes this season, because he's going to get a lot of playing time. I could see him maybe. Jaren Jackson Jr., no, I just don't think he'll be. Because like some of these players, like Kevin Knox will probably be the best player on the court for the Knicks because Porzingis is hurt. Like Jaren Jackson Jr., he'll be the 3rd best player on the court. So I would say Aiden, and then Doncic, then Kevin Knox. So that would be my MVP and Rookie of the Year predictions. But I'm going to make a whole video about that with my standings and award prediction sometime in September. 9th question comes from Brandon. Braden, he goes, would you rather have Anthony Davis or Kawhi Leonard, assuming the next 5 years? This is a little bit tough. I did have to think of this. I'm pretty sure off the top of my head, Kawhi is like 26, 27. I'm just going to guess that off the top of my head. Davis is what, 23, 24. For the next 5 years, this is tough. Now, if we're saying in 5 years from now, I think Anthony Davis will be a better player. But right now, if we're telling me you want me to win a game right now, I'm taking Kawhi Leonard. But if you're talking about the next 5 years, I think just obviously the age helps. And Anthony Davis is still getting better every season. And he showed that he could be healthy. I think he wasn't hurt really at all this season. Yeah, I would go Anthony Davis. Cameron X, favorite team in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Obviously, my Knicks. I'm a diehard Knicks fan, so yes. If I had to pick a second favorite team in the Eastern Conference, I think Orlando. I do mess with Orlando. I've liked them for a little bit now. Milwaukee's cool. I wouldn't like die for any of these teams, but these would be some teams that I'd maybe want to win it all if they got in the playoffs. I would say those two. I would say definitely Orlando and Milwaukee. Don't know why, just kind of like their play styles, like their fans. Never really ran into any toxic Buck or Magic fans, really. And then the Western Conference, Nuggets and Suns. I've messed with the Nuggets for a while now. I do like them a lot. I've liked them since Melo was there and Billups. And JR, I like them now, or I liked them 3 years ago. And yeah, and then the Suns I also liked, obviously because my favorite player of all time played for them, the Steve Nash. And I like Devin Booker, I like Aiden, I like their youth team they have now. So yeah, I would say Nuggets, Suns in the West, East, Knicks, Bucks, Magic. Sure, I mean, I don't really care for any of these teams but the Knicks. But yeah, if I had to pick Knicks favorite teams, those are what those teams would it be. 12th question, 12th and second to last question comes from Daniel. He goes, defensive player of the year predictions. I'm not going to give like a definitive answer now, but I would say obviously Gobert, the reigning guy's got to be in there. A full healthy season from Embiid is really scary. I would say he's 2. Kawhi's got to be there. A full healthy year from Kawhi. I think he might be my favorite, but yeah, Kawhi, and then I would say Draymond. I think, yeah, between Draymond, Kawhi, Embiid, and Gobert, those 4, 2 forwards, 2 centers, I think those 4 will compete for Defensive Player of the Year award. And Ben Westerkamp for the final question next. What could be a sleeper team in each conference to make a push for the finals? I would love to answer this. I mean, I'm going to do this anyway in perspective that the Warriors somehow aren't doing it, and I would go next best team. So if we're going sleeper team in the West, I'm going, it's tough. I'm going to actually do East first. I would say Washington. I think Washington could make some noise in the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked to them. If the Bucks somehow do terrible this year and they're the 6th seed, yeah, I would say, yeah, I could definitely say that. But yeah, I'll go Washington, sure. And in the West, I don't know. I would say, we'll go Denver. I think Denver could win a playoff series or 2. I do like Denver a lot. I'm very high on Denver. I wish I had a little bit of a better coach than Mike Malone, but yeah, I think Denver could make a run. So yeah, if we got a Denver-Washington NBA Finals, I would be the happiest man on earth. So yeah, that's going to be it for my 5th weekly Q&A now. If you guys enjoy these, you could drop a like on the video. Let me know in the comments if you have any disagreements with any of my questions. You can let me know in the comments. And yeah, like I said, on Twitter, you can ask me in the next week to try to be featured in this video. Sorry, there was 50 answers or replies or something. 160, right? 64 right now. And I can only answer 13. So yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm uploading because I'm currently recording this on August 4th, and you might not even see this till August 9th, I think, or August 10th. I mean, I'm coming home from DC 10th of Friday, but I didn't have a chance to make a video for that day, so depending on the time I get home, if I get home really early, I should be able to make a video. If I get home medium time, like, say, like, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I'll probably stream. But if I get home like 6, 7, 8, I probably just won't do anything that day. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.